Good afternoon, evening, and evening to everybody. This is Maxine from Looking at the Fearless You. Welcome today. Come to my show. I'm just picking up a few technical difficulties, so I do apologise for being a little bit late today. Today with me, I've got Nigel. Hang on, what you want, my love? Nigel Richardson, the one and only secret home. So, where's your superhero paper pass today? Can you hear me?
I should have brought one with me, shouldn't I?
You should have done. I want you to start all dressed up.
Oh, no, two for that.
So, I hope everybody can hear me. Hello, Pauline. Hello, Richard. On my side, I'm getting a little bit of feedback, and we've also had some difficulties when it comes down to like the Wi-Fi and also be live. So, if anybody finding any problems, please let us know, and we'll try and get it sorted out at the end. Now, Richard, you come from the city. You worked for many years, and you had a complete range of what you did in your life. Please tell me what you did.
So basically, as Max says, I was in the city for a number of years, well, 20 plus, more than I can remember. And back in the early days, it was a fantastic job. It was in the Wolf of Wall Street, but it was like that on steroids. And it was just it was a crazy world. But sadly, towards the back end of my career, the financial crisis happened in 2008. Lots of rules and regulations came in, and it became really, really boring. I worked in the sterling money markets. Interest rates were on hold for many years, the last sort of 6 years that I were there, and it was very, very difficult to try, the bankers to do anything when interest rates weren't going anywhere. So, and I've always had this sort of deep embedded feeling, have my own business or do something entrepreneurial, but never really had the guts to do it because I found myself in a relatively good job with a nice steady income and all the benefits that went with that. But I didn't really, as I said, didn't have the guts to do anything until one particular day, an opportunity for voluntary redundancy. And I thought to myself, well, it's now or never really. So I went home, spoke to my wife, and she's, we sort of thrashed it out over a couple of weeks kind of thing. And and doing that, I walked away and I felt a massive weight off my shoulders, I have to say. I was quite nervous and quite excited at the same time. And then I managed to sort of, use my broking skills to get a few weeks off or the entire summer off to spend with the wife and kids. Job in September because it was in May that I took voluntary redundancy, and I eked it out until September when the kids were back at school, and said, right, I'm going to really start looking for a job. Dug out the CV. It looked pretty rubbish, to be perfectly honest with you. It's done on an old typewriter, so I'm giving away my age a little bit. And then I sent it off to so I sent it off to be done professionally. It came back, and it still was kind of steering me back in the same direction I just came from. And, I'd done that, and don't get me wrong, fantastic times, traveled all over the world, met lots of amazing people, but it just wasn't doing it for me anymore. And, I just felt, and I mentioned this today in an interview the other day that, after a very short illness, we lost my dad really suddenly. And it really made me question our mortality and what we actually do in our lives. And it's like, why am I doing something just for the money? There's got to be more to life than just doing that. Of course, it's important to pay the bills, but advices, it's lovely to have a flash car and this, that, and the other, and X amount of holidays per year. But what good is it doing if you're killing it? And it's just, I just thought enough was enough. So I decided that I'd like to work for myself. So I looked at some franchises. I couldn't really find anything that was really ticking the boxes as such. And then I was on the inside really starting to panic, if I'm truthful, because I thought, what on earth am I going to do? I mean, the worst case scenario, I'd head back to the city. And that just filled me with dread. I just feel my shoulders dropping and just my chest tightening up and everything else. And I just thought, I just don't want to be going back into that atmosphere or environment anymore. So bizarrely, how the sort of universe has things sort of lined up for you and stuff like that. Earlier that summer, I filled my time and I was helping out in the village a little bit because our local church rooms are trying to get some funding from the Lottery Commission, and we needed to get some crime on local residents, whether they're due the rooms or not. So I come across this guy called Harry that was in the village, and he was an elderly gentleman, quite lonely, and I ended up spending my entire time around his house, drinking cups of tea, talking about the war and reminiscing about stuff. And didn't get any signatures that I was supposed to have got. And it's really nice, because he's, could see, he came alive. He was, when he was talking about when he's involved in war and stuff like that, his eyes became bright and big and everything. And I just thought, I can't just walk out on this guy because he doesn't see anyone. So fast forward that was in probably around about August time. In December, it was the 23rd of December, in fact. So I was watching TV, an advert come on the telly for the co-op. A young guy, it's their Christmas ad, their Christmas campaign, and a couple of young guys indoors playing a computer game or something like that. One of them goes to the freezer to get some ice out and realizes there's no ice in there for this party they're supposedly having. So he goes out to the co-op to buy some ice. And as he steps outside, he sees his elderly neighbour across the road come to his door, and as he goes to step out, someone skates past on this frozen pavement, and this guy just shakes his head and goes back in, and they start playing the bolero music. The next scene cuts to the youngster in the co-op, and he remembers this guy, and he starts packing a bag of groceries. And then following scene, you then see the guy ring the bell and do a runner, basically. And that immediately struck a chord with me and took me back to the summer when I met Harry. So I just got in the car, shot off to our local supermarket, filled up a bag of goodies, drove round to where Harry's house was, got out of the car, and it was 22:12 because I did the clock on the dashboard, and it was absolutely, tonking it down with rain. And I just went up to his doorstep, and I was feeling quite buzzy actually, just felt, quite excited about it. Dropped the bag on the doorstep, rung his bell, legged it back to the car, drove off and sped home. Got in, my wife said, "Where on earth have you been?" And I went, "Oh, so I've just been to Tesco's, and I just filled up this bag of groceries and left it on so-and-so's doorstep around the corner." She goes, "What on earth are you doing?" I went, "Look, I don't know. I've got a real buzz. I feel alive, and I feel like I've got a purpose." And that night, I just couldn't sleep. It's almost like Santa was coming. I was like, "Oh, is it morning yet? Is it morning yet?" Because I didn't. It was morning. I got in the car and drove round to his house to make sure the bag had gone in, and sure enough, it had gone in. I don't think anyone had stolen it, and and I just felt alive. This was my, this is my thing. And when I've been doing some research about starting a business and stuff like that, one of the things I did see was that Richard Branson, one of the quotes he said was that, if you, what does your business do? What does your business do that impacts or has a positive impact on the lives of others? And if it doesn't, you shouldn't be in business. It's that simple. So for me, I just thought to myself, well, look, I could recreate that feeling. There must be lots of people out there that A, suffer in silence, that can be. B, there's lots of people like me as well that are probably just sort of going through life in a trance almost, and just going through the motions, that require them to step out of their comfort zone and do something else and take that step, and B, maybe encourage others to do that random act of kindness that could be the change, it could change someone's life for the better kind of thing and have that positive impact. I mean, we've got story after story after story since we've started of random acts of kindness that have totally changed people's lives. I mean, for an example, when we launched the business, we went into we just gave away hampers, come in cardboard boxes, by the way. But for the corporate orders that we do, we offer an upmarket side with wicker baskets and so forth. But with the normal day-to-day stuff, we've got these care home hampers, and all they're full of is basically cake and biscuits. But we can actually add a nostalgic CD to that, so it can really help people with dementia. Just one particular care home that we went to, we said, "Oh, can we come in and meet some people and stuff like that?" And the manager said, "Yep, absolutely fine." He said, as long as you're happy, I'm happy for you to do that. As long as you're happy that we use this hamper as a raffle prize. We've got an open day later in the week." I said, "Yep, not a problem." And he said to me, "I'll happily you and let you know who won it, and we'll even put something up on our website." And true enough, he did do. And the lady that won it was in fact a resident, and she'd been in there, for a few weeks, and she was quite scared, lonely, intimidated by it all. She'd lost her husband, and she'd been moved out of the house into this home and essentially living in a room. And she was out, she just felt really, really low. She won the hamper. So she actually plucked up the courage to go down to the commune area in the home, and she gave out every single content in that box and made a load of new friends. Now, that who would have thought that from a box of cake and biscuits? Do you know what I mean? And there's like millions of stories that you could do like that over the years. For example, like at the moment with our NHS campaigns, we've got social awareness kind of thing. When we try to, beg your pardon.
You're jumping. I've got that.
I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah. So who would have thought that you've done a secret hamper and random acts of kindness out of and
Sorry, you're breaking up my end, sadly. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said, who would think that you'd had a secret hamper from your random acts of kindness from not going ginger?
I know, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And the thing is, the people that have gone into business, they've had a higher calling. They want to do something more, and they want to give back to other people. And in order to
yeah. Sorry, you might have to just type on the. Are you able to type on the screen as well as say? Okay.
No, it's really bad. Can everybody else hear me? We'll find out if anybody says anything.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay,
John? I can hear you as you start off, but then it breaks up.
What about if I come back further? Is that any better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Perhaps I'm too close. Right. So, with your family, so what do they think of having a superhero day?
Beg your pardon, can you say that again? Sorry.
With your family, what do they?
With my family, yeah.
Yeah. What do they think about having a superhero day?
What do they think about superhero?
A superhero day.
I can't. Superhero.
Dad.
Oh, Dad. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so this is the thing. When we started, I had a few different concepts, and they all look pretty naff. So I don't have any sort of background in graphic design or anything like that. So I came across this agency, and we went in and spoke, and the guy came up with 3 different concepts, and one of which was a superhero one. So I kind of like that in a way, because it kind of took the stigma out of what we were trying to do. Anyone to feel like as if they were a charity case or anything like that, because that's not what we want to be, not what it's about. It's just about, doing that act of kindness that could, change someone's world, for them. And we just thought everyone inside of them has got a superhero and would like, wants to feel that feeling. You just feel invincible. When you've done that, you're walking on cloud nine and you just think you can do anything. And we just thought, why not? You know, just a bit tongue in cheek. And we have a green mask that we use as our calling card that goes in the boxes. And obviously in the early days, so I didn't disappear into the ether of other gifting sites, I used to dress up in green. Yeah, so it was, the kids were a bit younger then, so they thought it was quite cool. But as they've got a little bit older over the last couple of years, it's not so cool. And I don't see them so often. But yeah, but they like, you know what, in all honesty as well, from starting, you know, I never saw the kids when I was in London. I'd leave home at 4:30 in the morning, and if I was lucky, I'd be home about 7:30 at night. So I wouldn't see them at all. I'm not saying that's to give up a good job in London, but one of the plus points is that they've seen what hard work can do, you know, and they've had to make sacrifices too. And it's, you know, sometimes it is quite hard because you think to yourself, oh, if I was still back in London, then we could shoot off here, shoot off there, and they could have a new pair of shoes and not worry about things. But now, obviously, we have to count the pennies a bit. But it's all part and parcel, I guess, of starting a business. And especially if you're starting something and you want to try and establish a brand, it's not going to be an overnight. It's going to take time. But hopefully that time will be worthwhile. But, you know, the kids have been amazing. Like my oldest child, Gracie, has probably had the most of her age. She's 9 years old now, but you know, she's been on the radio with me. She's been to various different shows and stuff, and her confidence has gone through the roof. You know, it's unbelievable. And it's even, you know, we went to a evening at the school last night, and they've just said like, she's a, you know, I don't know what's going on, but you know, she's like a totally different child, as in, you know, the confidence and the way that she, you know, carries herself. I mean, that's, you know, fantastic, really, because that would never have happened, you know, with my job, because she didn't really, she knew I went to London, and that was about it. Really, didn't really understand anything else. But now, you know, hopefully we're instilling those principles into her that, you know, hard work pays off, and especially with acts of kindness and stuff, it makes her understand the world in a slightly different way. So
that's fantastic. We're breaking right back. For anybody coming on, we've had quite a few technical difficulties this evening. I couldn't get on camera. My voice wasn't working. Not mine personally, but the computer. We also had that Nigel wasn't working, and we had to reboot a few times between us. So I'm hoping you can hear what we're saying. And if you can't, please let us know. We'll recap over what we've gone through already. Now, you've done a lot for charity, obviously with your range of kindness. Now, I know you did Farley's this last year. Who are you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the last 2 years, we supported Farley by getting local businesses to sponsor a space on the hamper van, because that's quite a large van. It's our, you know, advert, if you like. So we've, in total, over the last 2 years, best part of 200 businesses have sponsored a space on the van for £50, which all went to Farley. So with the gift aid element of that as well, we've raised £1,000. We'd really, really love to be able to do that again this year, but unfortunately, you know, Farley kind of moved the goalposts a little bit, because they did look at every April. So we had a little bit of time on our hands, because it wasn't particularly that busy then, obviously. But now this year, they put it back till September, and obviously, and that takes us right into Christmas. So we're gonna try and do something, but I can't really commit what we're gonna do. But one of the things we are doing, after watching the programme back in July, we decided to do something for the NHS, and we just, you know, because we've been with businesses in Essex before, we put it out on our social media pages that maybe it would be great if people would sponsor a hamper for £70, and then when we got 70 spots, we'd send 70 hampers into Broomfield Hospital. And lucky enough, that took us just like a couple of weeks to achieve that, and it was phenomenal. Well, honestly, feedback we got from the hospital. We got a lovely email video from Nick Alston, who's the chairman of Broomfield Hospital, and they're just saying how much of a buzz it created around the hospital. And literally over 2,000 staff members in one day were touched by a random act of kindness, local business sector. I mean, that's really powerful, because these guys, they do that job for the love of caring for others and making a difference in their life. So don't do it for the money. And it's not their fault that they don't really get the money that's promised to them. It's for provide ultimate care that they'd love to, I guess. So it's we all use it. We're all going to use it in our lives at some stage, no matter what background you come from. If you're in private medical health and this, that, and the other, you ultimately use A&E or something like that. You're going to use these people, and it's just nice to be involved in something that that on a day you reach out to 2, 3, 4, maybe 5,000 people. So on the back of that, we've got 15 further hospitals on the go, from as far north as New down to as far south as Plymouth, or southwest as Plymouth. So we've got a few sponsors in each places at the moment. We're speaking to a few football teams. We're speaking league. We're talking to various different. Thank you, Elizabeth. We're talking to a few big organisations that have got a bit left, where they may even buy 70 hampers on their own and send it into a hospital that's quite close to their regional head. Once that kind of takes off, hopefully we're going to we're aiming to do 70 hospitals basically between now and July next year. Always one was really good, and it really sort of inspired me to want to do more. The next few might be a bit more challenging, because obviously we need to get our name out there and stuff, but at least we've got the case study from Broomfield. So yeah, I mean, we want to run that alongside our day-to-day business, obviously, but in a way that helps us, our brand name out there, and it also gives these other businesses a story to tell, because we hear it all the time. You go to, like you do, you go to these networking events and stuff, and people always talk about, you need to tell your story. People want to know your story. So we're trying to, in a way, we're almost offering a service for these businesses, because not only are we making them look good, but it gives them a story to talk about on their social platforms and their blog posts or in their newsletters and stuff. And then hopefully it will go on and it will inspire others to do the same. So again, it comes back down to that ripple effect, and it goes on and on and on. And so sorry. And then we've got just confirmation today for all our Essex, sorry, not our Essex, all of our Christmas hampers that we sell and gift boxes. We're going to donate a percentage to Crisis this year, so help towards giving the homelessness, like homeless people, hot dinner or something like that. So it'd be nice to be involved in that. So we'll be putting details up of that in the next few years as well.
Wow. So you'll probably find there's quite you. Out of all the opportunities that you could possibly have in UK, why did you bring?
Oh, sorry, I didn't get that last piece. Sorry.
Why did you go for Broomfield?
Big pardon?
Broomfield.
Oh, so sorry, Max. I can't hear you. You do sign? Can you write a sign?
Yeah. Broomfield Hospital.
Broomfield Hospital.
Broomfield.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Go on.
See if I can type it at the same time. Right, there we go. So, why did you go to Broomfield Hospital?
I chose Broomfield.
Yeah.
The reason we chose Broomfield Hospital was for a few reasons. One of which was when we launched the business, hospice, because we'd done the £50 challenge and we'd just completed. We've got all the vans signed up and everything else. And we just put it up at the hospice a couple of years ago. and launched the business from there. And our first ever delivery was literally across the road to the maternity ward when we was giving away some freebies. My two youngest children, Isla and Harry, were both born at Broomfield, and Harry, being the young, turned out to be an emergency birth at the end of it. So we went through like 9 months of excitement. For the last sort of few hours of the 9 months turned into being a real sort of major operation as such. And if it wasn't for the expertise of the staff that were working that day, it could have been a different outcome, So we're just so thankful to them. So it had a sort of bit of a special place in our heart, really. That's why we chose Broomfield.
Fantastic. So you went to 10 Downing Street, right?
Yes. So I'm a big believer. As you know, we've been to a few different events together over the last couple of years, working in different networks and stuff. And one of the things that people encourage us to do is enter awards and things like that. One of the things that came up the year before that I read about in a paper was Small Business Saturday. So out on 2016. So when it came up in 2017, I enrolled on it and filled out all the questionnaire and stuff. And as luck would have it, I was one of 3 Essex businesses that were chosen to be part of Small Business Saturday 100 for 2017, which was a massive accolade. And at the end of the they do a count of days till whatever day it is it's the first Saturday in December in the UK. So they do a countdown from late August all the way down to December, and they announce a winner every day, and you have a day in the spotlight. But at the very end of it as well, you actually get to go to number 10 Downing Street. So that was an amazing experience. So just to sort of go to such a iconic address and spend the day there, it was truly amazing. It was really, really good. And it gives you that belief in yourself, because someday you do question what you're doing sometimes, and you might have a few days where you haven't had any orders through, or someone makes a flippant comment, and it can get under your skin, because when you're working on your own, you've got no one to really bounce things off of. And that's why, again, entering these competitions or into networking events is so important, especially when you're starting out. I mean, I worked in an office building where on the trading floor there was sort of 400 people, short of having somebody to have a conversation with. Whereas these days, I talk to myself all the time.
You and your
Yeah.
So every time I speak to you, Nigel,
yeah,
you've been with a celebrity.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to hold back a little bit these days because they keep barring me.
So tell the audience what kind of celebrities you've been speaking to, because I've seen quite a few.
Again, it comes back to the networking events that we've been to, and people talking about celebrity endorsements and how it can edify your business, and people's looking outside looking in is if that celebrity is saying good things about your business, if it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for me, kind of thing. So I kind of went on a bit of a mission, as it were. I got a bit of a bit between my teeth, and we managed to meet quite a few people over the last couple of years. And probably one of the highlights was probably meeting Luke Skywalker or Mark Hamill, and that was pretty cool. We've got a lovely, on our YouTube site, our Secret Hamper, we've got a list of some celebs on there. We've got Ross Kemp, Sunita, Mark Hamill. We've even got Eddie the Eagle. Quite an inspiring character to talk to, because he's been through some highs and lows in his life, So, people.
I might have to get you for an interview.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's. I actually saw him at a networking event, funny enough, and he's got a very good way of telling his story. And it's not when you sort of sit back and think over it afterwards. It's very, very clever. But yeah, I think it's great. It's just, and they're, the good thing is these celebrities, a lot of them are, like business owners in a way. You've got to be very focused, and they're very focused on their trade. They're very passionate about what they do. So there's lots of similarities between people in that sort of sector and sort of businesses, especially if you're a business that tries to be out and be vocal and visual. You're going to put yourself up your head above the parapet quite a few times, and talking to a lot of people. So there's quite a lot of similarities in a way, they just really sort of interest me really. I find them intriguing. There are some that are a little bit, a bit strange. Is the easy way to say it, but majority are lovely, really, really nice and very accommodating. And it's like, bit of name dropping, but when I met Theo Papitis, he said, you don't ask, you don't. So I said to him, that's exactly what I said to him. I mean, I said, look, you was on stage and you were saying, look, you don't ask, you don't get. He went, oh, bloody hell. He said, you knew that was going to bite me on the bum. What do you want? Thinking I was probably going to ask to go on Dragon's Den or asking him to put £1 million in my bank account. But I just said to him, look, it's 2 weeks away from Valentine's Day. Not show Mrs. Papitis your caring side, ditch the champagne and flowers, and spend the same amount of money on secret hampers, and we'll send them into a care home of your choice. And he said, you know what? He said, that's a really good idea. But what actually happened, that was on the Friday. On the Monday, I spoke to his PA, and she said, look, we don't actually have anything that we're associated with the elderly. He said, but Theo's a patron of a children's charity. Can we do something for them instead? So I said, absolutely. So we bespoke 12 hampers for these at Shooting Star Chase down in Surrey. Sadly, it's a children's hospice, but we then linked up with micro scooters that make all the scooters. You see the kids on the pavements these days. It's always a micro scooter. They're made locally to where we are. So I contacted them, and they very kindly donated some scooters. So when the siblings turn up with a mum and to visit their brother or sister, there's some stuff for them there to do, so they can scoot around in the gardens, weather permitting. Because obviously people forget. I mean, it could be a really long tough for them too, So, there's a little something there, and we bespoke these boxes, and it took the minds off of these little kids, the ailments for the day, And sadly, some of those children are up to an age to appreciate what Valentine's is really all about. And for someone like Theo, that's worth 300-400 million, to spend 500 quid, it made a massive difference. And that's what essentially that's what we're all about, making a difference.
That's exactly it. And you've made so many differences for so many lives. Time that you've been doing it. So
yeah, well, this is it,
Yeah. So guys, just so you know, we're speaking to Nigel today from Secret Hamper. We've had a few difficulties, so we're trying to keep everything low. We're trying to keep everything to a certain tone, so then we don't keep cutting out. We've had quite a few problems with sound, and camera, and everything else. So we'll hopefully that you can hear everything. Nigel's talking about Secret Hamper, which is a random kindness that people can actually put in money to donate to charity, or they can give it out to somebody they know, and something that they can give them. They don't even tell them who it's from. It is a Secret Hamper. It's absolutely amazing that he's doing, and I've seen Nigel go from the very start and for what he does now, and I've never known a man to work so hard for what he does, and the amount of people that he helps and tries to get himself out there so much for these celebrities. He gets a ball and goes down his feet, and it's absolutely amazing. This is the reason why I wanted to bring him tonight. So I've got a couple of questions for you before we're going to go, because we're going to have gone well and truly over. Nigel, about your hampers, what kind of hampers do you get?
Say the last one again.
Your hampers, all your different hampers.
Yeah, all the different hampers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when we first started, we started off mainly trying to produce a hamper that had no wastage, because obviously when I was in the city, I used to waste some ones, as you did, to try and get one over on your colleagues, kind of thing, or the competition elsewhere to your clients and stuff. And you know, they were full of, I mean, they were just full of fillers. So I just thought, and don't get me wrong, I never finished, you know, when I was in the city, I never thought for the life of me I'll be starting a hamper business. You know, that wasn't what I was aspiring to at the time. And this really isn't. The hamper is really a tool, if you like, to, you know, when you buy a secret hamper, you're not really buying a box of goodies, you're actually buying an experience. And, you know, we're creating magic. And we'll come on to that creating magic bit in a minute, because that really ties in quite well, actually. Yeah, so we've got one from new parents, we've got students, first-time buyers, we've got kiddies that are in care, obviously. And then the ones that, the little kiddie ones are actually really great because of the bear in them. So the child, if it's in hospital or if it's in care, you know, they can build that teddy, that's special to them, and it's a comforter. And, you know, they can then take care of that teddy, and it gives them some ownership, if you like, and it can quite, you know, take their mind off what's going on in their world. So we kind of think about what it is we try to put together. Through, we've got obviously our Essex hamper. So with that, we can support up to 30 or 40 now local businesses with local produced products. We also have, it has, oh, sorry, something just come up on there, Richard. Sorry, Rich, 1 second. I've got team chatting what you've said. I'll just try and get rid of that. Can you send me, oh, sorry, send me details, because Richard Fay, because right, wow, that's fantastic. Sorry, just throw me off a little bit there. Thank you, Richard. I'll definitely I'll send you an email over after this you. Yeah, so basically the Essex hamper, as I say, we can present that obviously in wicker baskets, or just a plain cardboard box. We've also got animal hampers that are, you know, animal owners, like dog and cat owners, are obviously quite fussy what they feed their pets. So we've geared those up to be more for animals. So if someone goes to one of those and rescues a pup or a cat, they can then, as a thank you, send in a box of food and toys, so they can and then help support the staff that way. We also got obviously the care home hamper, again what we spoke about earlier, full of cake and biscuits, and that we can add a nostalgic CD to that, and it helps people with dementia. So there's lots of things. We've just brought out a new range of gift boxes as well, which are, you know, really, really smart. Fantastic gift for all manner of things. We can actually, for companies that might want to use them for branding purposes, we can actually, you know, put their logos on the box. We've got a fantastic relationship with Tiptree, so we can put personalised labels with messages on for on the bottles of gin. We've used a few of those. We've sent those to David Beckham. We've sent one to well, Theo's had one, Peter Jones has had one, and well, I took one onto the Chrissy B show the other day. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, you can do quite a lot with those, and it's just like silly little things. From friends of ours recently, it was their wedding anniversary, and someone was really stuck what to get them, so they came to us and said, what can we do? So we did a, you know, she really likes gin, he likes his beer, so he got a bottle of beer and some nice crisps, she got some popcorn, and she got a bottle of gin, and it had on their hands off Norm. So just little things like that. So but yeah, there's lots of different things. We've got you know, a lot of ideas for the future, and there's there's comments coming up, but I can't actually see them on my screen.
Right, you'll see.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, going. You know, hopefully we've got a few, as I say, a few different collaborations that are in the pipeline, and we obviously want to take what we do digital as well, engage with a younger audience, and we're looking at the moment. We're talking to some app developers where we're going to bring out a very exciting app side to the business. So,
you know, if someone, say for us, has got Christmas coming up and they said that they want a secret hamper from you, what do they do?
Just literally, they can pop onto our website, secrethamper.com. Be on there in the next few days, but essentially it will be pretty much centered around the Essex hamper, to be perfectly honest with you. We can bespoke it, so if it's got any particular needs, we've got a wide range of alcohol from ales, wine, we've got obviously the gin, we've got a distillery that we use up in Great Yeldham that produces some fantastic vodka and bookas and anything like that. So pretty much on the alcohol front, we've got that covered too. We can add, we've got a supplier with some silver jewellery, so we can get some nice things like that. We've got beard kits for the guys. Beards seem to be very popular, even though I can't grow one myself. There's but there's a lot of things that we can put together. So we just need, if people want to they want to drop us an email at info@secrethamper.com with any particular inquiries, or requirements, should I say. We can always look at sort of bespoking stuff for people as well. So, and as I say, we're going to be putting a percentage of any sales to Crisis this year as well. It's hopefully the gift that keeps giving.
So as you said, you guys, you're stuck for a Christmas or birthday present or even an anniversary, wedding, engagement, anything else that you want to give over as a present, by doing go through Secret Hamper and going through my job, it's very much that not only that present to that person, but you're also charity as well. So it basically, Nigel said, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Now, you went on to Sky and see Chrissy B the other day, didn't you?
Yes.
How was that interview?
Yeah, that was the Chrissy B show. Yeah, amazing. It's quite funny how things happen, really, because in the last few weeks some amazing things have happened. I think you've got to, I'm a firm believer, put yourself out there. And some people say, I'm very guilty of this, because obviously, you've got to make those sales. You go and stuff and they say you've got to sell, got to sell, got to sell. That is very true, but sometimes you need to, work on your story a little bit, because otherwise, you're just going to end up peeing people off, just being in their face all the time, like sell, 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 sell. There is we all go into business, hopefully, try and, put a little bit of good back in the world. And, that's what we were trying to do. And we came across, we got invited to go onto the Chrissy B show. And the actual thing that we went on there for was when you get to a point in your life and you've got like a real life-changing decision to make. So we pretty much spoke about, we've spoken about tonight, really, what that process was and what made me change my mind from, getting a guaranteed salary every week to thinking, where's this penny coming from? But
any business, when you first start, it's very hard in the first couple of years. But you've persisted and you've done so much. And, the amount you've gone to, the people you get to see, and the places you go. And the reason why I want what you want. If I can do something to help you out, help others, because you've done so much in your time that you've been doing for him, that I just a little bit more for you. Now, just your last question, because we've got somebody else on after us. When are you looking to take Secret Hamper for the next 12 months?
So say that last bit again. When we're looking to
take Secret Hamper for the next 12 months?
Well, yeah, basically, I'd like to get the NHS campaign is going to be a big part of that. If we get to achieve our goal of 70 hospitals, potentially that will put us on an even bigger platform and get more people knowing about us. So if you just work on, say, Broomfield's figures of, like, say, just 2,000 people, Broomfield Hospital, there are 5,000 staff. So we were dulling down the figures. We just thought, well, based on how many people work on the ward and this, that, and the other, and we just went for sort of general feedback of about 2,000 people. It may well have been 3,000 on that day, but just for rule of thumb, let's say 2,000. If we managed to see hospitals, that's 140,000 people that have been affected by an act of kindness, and what could that then for others? So we're going to be really focused on that. Going to be focusing on launching a couple of subscription services, one for maybe a social response model where there'll be 3 membership levels. So each month a company can send in a box of goodies to like a local care home, something like that, and again it provides them with some content and whilst doing some good in the community. So we're going to be looking at that. We'll also be looking at introducing a student, so mum and dad can look after, send a parcel into the kids every other month whilst they're at uni, and obviously looking to just expand telling stories really, and trying to develop the app and bring that out within the next year as well, because that's really exciting. We've got quite a few businesses that we've been speaking to that would like to come on board with that, and we want to create a platform really, so people can come on and use that and send a random act of kindness in an instant. Potentially that could be that could go global, which pretty awesome really.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our show now. I'm not going to feel it. And as you can see, I've got Nigel with me today. Now, he is the founder of Abraham. Not only to help all those people out there giving something back to them, making them feel special, but he also gives charity at the same time. And as well as doing that, himself playing not ginger. Which is very starting. And the fact is that Nigel is one of these people with that he just going and going until he gets where he needs to get. And I could admire him. He's done so well as far as. And if any of you would like to, get yourself a hamper at any time, that would be absolutely amazing. Richard, I would like to say thank you very much for Richard say that you donate £50 to endorse the cause. That is absolutely amazing.
Well, that's amazing. That's really amazing. Thanks, Richard.
And yeah, I just think it's absolutely brilliant that that you do that. Fine, so great. Sorry, I've got crazy through for fun.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you very much for being so patient with us as well. We've had some difficulties. We've had technical difficulties when it comes down to the camera. I'm also getting over my illness as well. So sorry, coughing because I've got a chest infection. So
no. Before you sorry, can I just say I've just got one little gift to give you before we all go. Is we've got a chapter in Jason Vowell's new book called Create Magic. It's on pre-order at the moment. It's a story for another day, but through the power of social media, we connected and cut a very long story short. We're now being featured in his book alongside the likes of Richard Branson, Gary Barlow, and Tony Robbins, which is unbelievable. So what he's done is put it out on pre-order on Amazon. Create Magic. In those books, there are 4 golden tickets, or 2 golden tickets for a couple, and one to his Juicy Retreat in Portugal, and one to Juicy Mountain in Turkey. So I think it's $8.99 or something. It gets released on the 12th of November. But somewhere in the books that go out, there's going to be like a Willy Wonka type golden ticket to win a week away at one of his retreats. So, and there's going to be some inspirational stories in there. So definitely worthwhile getting a copy.
Do you want to put that in the comment, Richard? No. If you want to stick that in the comment, link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I
buy that and do put it on?
How do I type that in?
Just go to the comment. I can send you the actual thing after can share it onto the page, and then you can share it all over or go onto the TV app.
Okay.
All right.
Right, hang on. I can do this. So
this is what it is, guys. It's like, you know, so many people worry that she lose confidence about being on live. You know, with Be Live, with Facebook Live, and you know what? Things don't always happen perfectly, but you just have to either plan B, or you have to keep going and hope. So that's what we're doing today. So if you'd like,
right, but I'm typing it in now for you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for you're doing that. So if you can
thank you for having me.
Our page, Yes You Can Inspire to Achieve. Go onto the website and something that we do, bring more than 12 of us. And if you go to Global TV, which is where this will be, and see all the other people that also go onto Global TV, and we also broadcast. And by doing broadcast, what we do is we try and give as much content as we possibly can. And it is all about giving you what we can in our heart and in our soul to give you different things every single day. With business, fruits and fears, whether it's to do about your story, whether it's to interviews, or whether it's basically give you content to help you out in any aspect of your life. That's what it's all about. So I want to say thank you very much to Nigel for coming today. You've been absolutely amazing.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to me.
And if you get hold of Richard, we'll be sorting that out. So you email with Richard with that one. And thank you very much for listening, for everybody. And if you can replay, hashtag replay. And take care, and we'll speak to you all very soon.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, guys.